Hello guys, it's time for live reaction of this video called Christmas Special, Grogar, a heartwarming horror story part 1, My Little Pony, Grimdark reading. It is 31 minutes and 50 seconds long. This is by Sparrow. Sparrow, it sounds like a spade. Anyway, let's get this reaction started in 3, 2, 1, go. God, that's creepy.
Peered out the window.
Hello.
As the blizzard raged outside, she watched as the harsh winds blew around the
ugly, man.
spaces of
He
Sweet
looks
Apple
like
Acres. The wind howled
ugly.
and moaned against the various buildings that made up the
Looks
farm
like she's
as a
using
whole.
a
It
teeth
sounded to
whitener.
her like the sinister singing of some long-forgotten ghost, lost and alone on a freezing equestrian night. The old wood that made up the Apple family's farmhouse groaned against the
It looks like the farmhouse is falling to pieces, mate.
Cold and the wind. The creaking and the moaning would have put another feeling on edge, but Apple Bloom knew better. These timbers had held for long before the day of her birth, and somehow
I'm getting a Harry Potter
she
reference
knew
in
they had
certain
no
areas, so
intention of giving up on the ghost anytime soon. Others might not have had the same
the
faith
Whomping
that she
Willow
Apple
house.
Bloom, are you sure that the roof isn't going to come crashing down on us in the middle of the night?
I hope not.
Apple Bloom sighed, resting her head on the window's glass. Just like I told you the last 7 times, Button. It will be fine.
It'll be
Behind her,
fine.
Button
But how do you
paused
know?
at the floor
Anything
nervously.
can happen.
You promise? Button, you are really making me regret asking Apple Bloom to invite you over tonight. Skulu rolled her eyes as she sipped from her mug of warm cider. Skulu!
Cider.
Sweetie Belle's voice cracked slightly as she admonished her friend from across the couch. What a thing to say! Diamond Tiara sipped her own cider as she looked up from the magazine she'd been reading.
Oh, this is a non-alcoholic soda.
Question. Why is Button Mesh here? I thought this was a girls-only sleepover.
Ship.
Apple Bloom finally pulled herself away from the window and nimbly jumped onto her nearby chair. I never specified one way or the other. How was I supposed to know that only Button's mama would give him permission to come over? She spared the brown coal a pitying look. I'm sorry none of the other boys
Button
could come.
is more likely
He must
going
be
to
bored
kiss
to
a pony
tears.
than...
Button Mash chuckled. It's fine. To tell you the truth, Mom only let me come because she says I need to socialize more.
Socialize more.
You do
Yeah,
spend all your free time at the arcade.
that's true.
Re-entered the room.
Plus a
and
funeral
retaking her
beside of
place
yourself.
on the floor, beside Sam and Tiara. But let's be honest with ourselves here. We're not here because Bloom asked us over. We're here so our parents could get rid of us for the night. Discarded.
Yeah, get rid of you when doing
So the
scary
stallions and
stories.
mares can hide from the blizzard in town hall and drink enough hard cider to forget they even have kids. Diamond Tiara pouted.
I haven't had hot cider
Man,
before though.
Grown-up ponies suck. Skulu grumbled. I'll thank you to respect your elders when you're in this house, little missy. The 6 young ponies' heads turned and watched as
Who was
Applejack entered the room.
Hello, Applejack.
Quickly removed her heavy coat and tossed it by the blazing fire to dry. She doffed her hat and began brushing the excess snow from the worn leather. Her eyes remained focused.
Oh, I haven't
on
seen
Skulu.
snow for ages, actually.
Now, you were saying about grown-up ponies? Skulu offered an embarrassed grin. I didn't mean they all did.
Yes, you-
Applejack, that you? Granny Smith poked her head out of the kitchen. You make the delivery all right? Yes, ma'am. The farmer flipped her hat over and pulled out a
Yes,
copy
ma'am.
receipt. 15 barrels of hard cider delivered to Mayor personally. She said just
How does he
bring this
keep
to
it
her
hot
office the day
in
after
travelling?
tomorrow And we'll get paid in full. She looked back over
How
to
much
the
it's gonna
young
cost?
ponies.
How much is hot
Did
cider?
folks say hi? No, they didn't.
Hi.
Silverspoon muttered under her breath. Diamond Tiara nudged her best friend in the ribs and looked past Applejack. Where's Big Macintosh? Did you lose him in the snow?
Yup.
Nope, came the deep reply. Macintosh Apple strode into the room. He tossed his own coat on top of Applejack's and gestured behind
Hello,
him.
Peter
We
New.
did find some pony else out there. A stone gray
Who?
mare poked her head into
Who
the
did you find out there?
and smiled through a curtain of mane the color of gravel. Hi?
Hi?
Marble! Apple Bloom ran across the room
Yo,
and
that's
hugged
loud.
the Earth Pony tightly, much to the mare's delight and joy. What are you doing here? The Paz family came in to see Pinkie and had to shove themselves into just one room at the inn. I told Marble's Pa and Ma that we had plenty of room, but Pinkie's parents
room
had
must
already
be packed
settled
with
in,
ponies
and
now.
Limestone didn't feel like walking in the snow. And Maud? Applejack shrugged.
What about Mum?
Maud is Maud.
Mud is Mud.
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the
Before
truth?
turning a gummy smile to Pinkie's twin. Well, there's always room for you in this house. Make yourself comfortable. Cookies are nearly done. Applejack made
Yay,
sure
cookies!
Granny was safely in the kitchen before she turned to her brother and Mare next to him. Why don't you give Marble a quick tour of the house, Mac? She made a point by adjusting an ornament
There's a
on the
spider!
decorated hearth-warming tree. Before Granny comes back on me, Mac and Marble blushed and gave each other small, shy, secret smiles. Would you like to see the house? The great red stallion asked.
Ship!
Once the love-struck pair were gone, and Applejack had joined her grandmother in the kitchen, the 5 fillies in solitary cult resumed their pre-cookie activities. So, is this a hearth-warming Eve tradition? Silverspoon asked with an exaggerated yawn. Applebloom raised an
Kinda.
eyebrow when she had reclaimed her chair. It's what a tradition exactly? Sitting around until we die of boredom. Despite
You're
her recently
talking,
reformed
aren't you?
status, Diamond Tiara could not resist giving a mean-spirited snort of laughter upon seeing the cutie mark crusader's withering looks. She looked away in embarrassment. Sorry. As much as I hate to admit it, Silverspoon does have a point. Are we actually going to do anything tonight?
Yeah, what are you gonna
Blind
do
Max
actually?
jumped
What
onto
are
the
you
couch
gonna
next to
do?
Sweetbell and paid no mind to her barely suppressed squeak of surprise. In my house, we play games on Hearthwarming Eve.
Really?
There's a shocker, Skulu muttered into her cider. Button cut his eyes at her. And what do you do in your house, if I may ask? Skulu grinned.
I get sweet about.
Hearthwarming Eve in my house is the best. We do this ancient Pegasite tradition called the mystery gift. Every pony passes around an empty box, opens it, and pretends it's exactly what we wanted for hearthwarming. The others have to guess what it is. Applebloom smiled. That's really neat, Scoots. But what do
Yeah,
you
but-
win? Diamond Tiara shoved the magazine over to Silverspoon and propped herself up on the pillow she
How long will
stretched
that
out.
last though?
The pony who guesses the most times, I mean. What do they win? Skulu crossed her forelegs and gave a cocky smirk. The winner gets to open the first gift on Hearthwarming morning. I've won the last 3 years in a row.
She would.
Diamond Tiara rolled her eyes at the orange filly's bravado and looked to Sweetie Belle. What about you? Do you have some old unicorn traditions?
Yeah, kiss
Sweetie
bottom
Belle
mash.
thought about it as she lit her horn and levitated her mug from her and onto a nearby coffee table. Not sure about ancient traditions. My dad drinks a lot, if that counts. That's not a tradition, Silverspoon whispered into Diamond Tiara's
Drinking
ear.
a lot is more like
That's
an all year
therapy
round.
fodder. Diamond Tiara pulled away and glared at her best friend. Can you stop being so rude? Well, excuse me for actually wanting to have fun on Hearthwarming Eve. Applebloom looked sharply at the silver filly. Is something wrong?
You'd be quite rude actually.
Silverspoon rolled her eyes and returned to the magazine. Nothing's wrong. If we were at my house right now, we'd be opening the first gifts of Hearthwarming.
On Christmas
She
Eve.
looked around the room.
Oh,
smiling.
hearts will win even.
I get so many presents each year that we have to start the night before.
You're bragging.
Wow, you're such a lucky pony. Scooby
Yeah.
let Sweetbelle's magic carry her own empty mug away. I sure do wish that my parents had to buy my love every season.
Can you shut up?
Please, Scootaloo. Silverspoon narrowed her eyes at the Pegasus sarcastic tone of voice. Don't get all memes because your family is so poor they had to come up with a tradition where you pretend that you're excited to get literally nothing for Hearthwarming.
Oh, she's nasty.
Scootaloo's wings flared, and she jumped to the floor. My family isn't poor, and at least we know the real reason for the season. Silverspoon pushed the magazine away and stood on her own hooves. Just what I'd expect to hear from the girl who's shown up these past few winters in the same ragged coat. I like that coat. She took another step forward. You don't know any better.
Yeah.
The pony mirrored her. Stop it, Sylvie.
Yeah, stop.
Begged.
Be
She
nice.
reached out a hoof, but pulled back when Silverspoon yanked her leg away. Honestly, if we were in Apple Bloom's house right now, I'd kick your flank from here to Manhattan. Sweetie Belle started to climb up the couch. Scootaloo, maybe we should. You want to fight? Let's fight. Silverspoon's ears flattened.
Oh, don't
It would
fight.
probably make Sweetie Belle feel right at home if you start acting like her father after too many hard ciders.
Ooh, yeah, whatever.
Sweetie Belle froze, and then pulled herself back up onto the couch. I'll do your homework for the next 2 months if you break her glasses,
Ooh.
she said.
Break,
Button Mash
break,
looked around in
break.
confusion. Is this what normally happens at girls' sleepovers? Scootaloo tensed to spring. Last chance. Take back what you said about my family.
Take
And
it back.
Sweetie Belle's.
Take it back.
Silverspoon snorted and pawed at the floor, her tail whipping back and forth. The only thing that should be taken back around here is that old, smelly, patched, stained, manure-encrusted coat of yours. That's it! The two fillies rushed at each other. Stop!
Stop.
Apple Bloom leaned between them and held out her hooves to stop them.
Stop, please.
Just stop all this right now. Now what in tarnation is going on in here?
Applejack is pissed.
The young ponies all looked up to
No,
find
peeved.
Applejack staring at them. A tray of cookies and milk balanced on her back.
How's she better
Well-
stand on her back?
Granny Smith's aged laughter drifted.
That's
behind
some
the
skill.
company. Don't you worry about them none, Applejack. They just want to meet Grogar is all. Button Mash tilted his head. Grogar? What's that?
Yo, what is Grogar?
Granny Smith snorted as she made her way to her old rocking chair by the fire. Now, don't tell me no ponies ever told you a lot about Grogar. He's as important a part of Hearth's warming as Santa Hooves himself. The fillies
Oh,
and
the
colts
puns,
stared at
the
her
puns.
with uncomprehending eyes. Granny Smith hefted herself into her chair and smiled. I guess it's up to me to spin the tale then. Applejack, you pass out them cookies and milk. The rest of you get comfy. The ponies all returned to their original seats. Scootaloo and Silver...
I need to do something. Just make it a bit spooky.
shooting looks at each other to make it clear that they were nowhere near done.
We're not done?
Now, what can you little ponies tell me about Santa Hooves? Santa Hooves travels around Equestria on Hearthwarming Eve, visiting all the fillies and colts in the land. Sweetie Belle smiled as she bit
what
into
about
a
around the
cookie.
world?
Very good. And if you've been a good little pony and honored the spirit of harmony all year, then you get a present, right? Six heads all nodded.
Yes.
And what if you're bad? You get coal. Scootaloo muttered.
Coal.
Is coal bad?
I got coal for
Marble asked as
Christmas.
she and Mac re-entered the room and squeezed into a love seat. Dopey grins on their faces.
Ship.
Like getting coal for her swarming. Granny Smith ignored her and continued. Sometimes if you're a bad pony, you're lucky to get coal. You might just attract the attention of Grogar. Who is Grogar? Applebloom asked.
Who is Grogar?
He's Santa Hooves' opposite number.
Here
The
comes the
shadow,
dark
you might say.
music.
It said that he's a huge ram with fur the color of a full moon wet night. His eyes burn with blazing red fires of the deepest pits of Tartarus. His mouth is full of fangs so sharp they can bite right through stone.
Is he like the devil then?
Sweetie Belle gulped and unconsciously pulled closer to Button Mash. It's said that he lives all year round in the ruined city of Tambalon, far
Where is
beyond the distant north.
Tambalon?
And he only
Where
comes
is
out
that?
on Hearth, Warm, and Eve. He flies around
I'm
the
sorry, it
Equestria
sounds like
listening for
tampon.
anger and sniffing for disharmony. And when he finds it, then he swoops down and snatches that pony in the chains that he always carries with him. He hangs bells from the chains to ring while he flies around and does his evil work. If you hear those bells of Tambalon, it's already too late. The Little Ponies.
I'm getting a bit of
What happens to the ponies that get snatched? But Nash
Christmas Carol a bit there.
No pony knows.
No pony
At the
knows.
flickering flames in the hearth, her mouth set into a frown. I've heard it's told that he drags them to Tartarus where they suffer for all time.
Oh, that place,
I've
the
also
prison.
heard it once or twice that he just eats the little pony he takes away. Scootaloo's eyes
Reminds me of
widened.
Children Night a bit.
The way my granny told it, though, was the worst of all. She told me that the taken were spirited away to Tambalon itself. They're stripped of everything that made them who they were until they ain't nothing but husks, neither living nor dead. There they serve Grogar until the end of time, deprived forever of anything they treated so lightly. The spirit of heartwarming, the spirit of friendship, of harmony itself.
He's fucking evil.
Granny looked back at the little ponies with a mischievous glint in her eyes. Oh, and one more thing y'all need to know.
What's
The
that?
colt and 5 fillies leaned forward in expectation. I'd wager that he heard that little spat y'all were having earlier and came a little early. As if in response, a pair of curved horns began to rise from behind the sofa. Apple Bloom saw them first from her perch on the chair. She pointed a hoof and screamed, "He's here!" The other young ponies screamed and panicked, scrabbling madly away from the couch.
Imagine you had to
As
do
if
all
in
the screaming
response
as
to their
well.
Screams,
Bloody hell.
deep booming laughter came from behind the cushions.
Ha 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 ha
From
ha
beneath the
ha ha
horns.
ha.
Familiar booming laughter. Beneath horns that were now shaking loosely, Apple Bloom, the first to scream, was now the first to figure it out. Her eyes narrowed with as much rage as her tiny body could handle. Big Mac! Stanley rose up fully, almost doubled over with laughter. Tied to his head by a flimsy string was a pair of horns, presumably carved.
Oh, it's a
log
fucking
from
prank
the
he
leaves.
pulled.
Granny Smith's wizening cackling soon joined her grandson's as he crossed the room and gave her a hoof bump. Got him good, boy. Applejack stared at
Yeah, he did.
visibly unamused. I hope you two are all proud of yourselves. Now we got a bunch of little ponies that ain't gonna be sleeping at all tonight. Whatever, AJ. Scootaloo climbed back onto the couch and did her best to hide her still trembling wings. It wasn't that scary. Silver Spoon also scoffed.
She's
as she
bragging a
settled
bit.
back onto one of the floor cushions.
She's too
Thinking
proud a
that
bit
point
as
to
well.
be as far away from Scootaloo as possible. Yeah, like there'd ever be something as silly as a ram that snatches colts and fillies away. Budmash made his way to grab his cap from where it had fell and found his leg and hoof held hostage
Can
in the iron grip of a unicorn.
Diamond Tiara die first, please.
Sweetie Belle? Huh?
Huh?
Sweetie Belle noticed what she was holding on to and released it as quickly as she could manage.
What's she holding on to now?
Sorry, she muttered with a forced chuckle. No idea why that happened. Granny Smith's laughter faded, and she fixed her eyes on Silver Spoon. Oh, this with Mac was all a joke. You can bet with that. But you'd better believe Grogar is real. As real as Santa Hoofs himself. Silver Spoon did not flinch from Granny's gaze.
Is it sort of thing that Santa Hooves is not real,
I
but
know
the man
that,
it is?
because Santa
Or both
Hoofs
is
isn't
real?
real either.
Or both is
The
real?
silence that followed was broken only by the crackling of the fire. What did you just say?
What did you just
Apple
say?
Bloom gazed at the great filly reproachfully. Silver Spoon rolled her eyes. I should have figured that you, of all ponies, would not have figured it out by now. Figured what out?
Figured what out?
Applejack looked between the two fillies in mounting horror. This was not how she wanted this information to come out. Alright, I think we better tuck in. Figured what out? Apple Bloom repeated, ignoring her big sister.
She will find out.
Yeah, I guess I haven't figured it out either. Bud Mash's face shared the same look as Apple Bloom. Curiosity and confusion.
I'd be confused as now as well.
Looked at her peers. Really? Okay, raise your hoof if you think Santa Hoofs is real. Silver Spoon, Demetria whispered dangerously. But the hooves of the three fillies and a colt were already in the air. Tweedledee gaped at Demetria, her hooves still flat on the floor. You don't believe in Santa Hoofs? Mac's attention was pulled away from me as he laid attention to the realization that some pony was missing. Hey, where'd Marble go? Applejack looked.
I forgot about her. Where is she?
Pie sister had been sitting and snorted in irritation. You must have scared her off with that trick, you big dunderhead. She could be anywhere in the house. Y'all go looking for that scaredy mare, Granny said, her eyes still burning a hole through Silver Spoon.
Yeah, you can find your
I'll be
lover.
sure these six don't start
You find your
rumbling.
lover, Big Mac.
Applejack opened her mouth to protest, but thought better of it. Instead, she looked to her brother.
Oh, what?
You take the upstairs, I'll take here. And for pony's sake, get rid of those horns before you give that mare a heart attack.
A heart attack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mac muttered sheepishly as he left the carved horns by the fireplace. Silver Spoon was smirking at Demetria.
Is the horns gonna
Of course she doesn't believe.
manifest
She
himself
removed
into
glasses
the
and rubbed them
monster?
against her coat to clean them. Did you figure it out yourself? Or did your parents tell you? Demetria sighed heavily.
Thank you, Sweet Belle.
Mother told me last week after I found a stash of presents in the attic and asked them about it. She said she was glad I'd found them because I was getting too old to believe in old ponytails.
Not every pony can
Santa
get
Hoofs
is
is not
that
an
grateful
old
than you.
ponytail, Scooby shouted. He's the only pony in this whole world that treats us all equally. Then
Unlike
why does
you.
he always bring you gifts that aren't as nice as what every pony else gets?
You're
Her
fucking
words began to
rude.
fan the flames of anger in Scooby's heart. Santa Hoofs does what he can. I bet your daddy told you that now, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
That's enough, Missy. Granny Smith's voice was suddenly razor sharp in its tone. It ain't your place to be saying things like that. I may be up in my years, but I can still tan your hide. A ding came from the kitchen. Dag flabbing cookies, the old Earth Pony muttered.
Language.
Her way to the kitchen, casting one last wilting look over at Silver Spoon. Appleboom's eyes were now on Diamond Tiara. What did your mom tell you?
Tell the
Diamond
story.
Tiara's eyes were on the floor. Our parents made up Santa Hoofs. They hide extra presents every year and put them out after you go to sleep on Hearthwarming Eve. Button Mash laughed uneasily. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would they go out of their way to lie about something like that?
That's a good question, actually.
Because their parents lied to them about it, and their parents did the same thing. It's a tradition to lie to your foals. Silver Spoon smirked humorously as she
Well,
moved
it's
her glasses
technically
back
true,
on.
really, yeah.
How messed up is that? What is wrong with you tonight, Silver Spoon? Demetria looked up with worry at
You
her
need to
best
be
friend.
quite nice.
Wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
You're a fucking
Silver
bully.
Spoon
That's
jumped
what's
off the
wrong with
cushion
fucking
and
you.
started pacing in front of
Why
the
am I getting
fireplace.
angry now?
What's wrong with all of you? Newsflash, hot off the presses. All the ponies in
She's
this
not
town
acting
do
like a
but
fucking
lie
friend.
to each other and keep secrets. Secrets and lies. Well, you know what? I've had it with secrets and lies. The
Leave
wind blew
then.
against the house again, creating a low creaking moan as though the house were warning Silver Spoon to stop.
What the fuck is that?
It is time to grow up, and growing up means facing the truth. I bet your dad told you that, didn't he? Silver Spoon's jaw snapped shut as she gazed at Skulu with unbridled fury. What did you just say to me? Is that what he told you after he told you Santa Hoofs wasn't real? Skulu met Silver Spoon's eyes without fear. That's what this is all about, isn't it? Your folks ruined it for you, so you have to ruin it for every pony else.
She
nodded
is
towards
creating
Tiara.
conflict now with
At
the.
least she had the decency to keep that information to herself.
If this wasn't Grogar,
Decency?
if this wasn't Grogar, it would be the
Button Mash raised her
Windigos.
hoof. I wasn't aware we had decided Santa Hoofs wasn't real. He looked around in confusion. Is that still not up for debate? Decency is doing the adult thing and accepting the truth, not hiding behind foolish innocence. Silver Spoon turned
But
her
thing
glass
is, they got
up,
discovered on their
sitting once
own.
again near Button Mash. Here,
Silver
I'll show
Spoon?
you. Hey, Button Mash.
It's down to
Nicole
the.
looked up
It's down to
expectantly.
them. Down to the
Sweetie Belle
biddies.
has a crush on you.
Shit.
Belle's mouth dropped.
But it's down to them
and
to
her blush
discover it
creased
on their
clear through
own.
her coat. You weren't supposed to tell any pony, she cried, her voice cracking loudly. Oh please, it's not like no pony noticed. He just did it because he has the social skills of a diamond dog.
Hey!
That's enough, Silver Spoon, Tiara shouted.
Yeah, fuck off!
You're years away from your first
Sorry,
heat,
Sweetie Belle.
and you're already practically raising your tail for him. Skulu shot across
That
the
is-
bullet and
that
tackled
sounds
her
wrong.
to the floor.
Raise your
She
tail.
stood over her
Ooh,
and raised a hook
lovely.
to strike. No pony talks to her like that.
Yeah.
Silver Spoon's eyes rolled with madness. Like you're any better? Go ahead and beat me up. Maybe that will impress her so much she'll stop focusing on the king of dorks over there and look at you for once like you've always wanted her to look at you.
Oh, shut the fuck
Skulu
up.
faltered, her eyes wide. What? Silver Spoon took the opportunity and kicked straight
Oh,
upward.
shit.
Orange Philly went soaring and landed next to the hearthwarming tree with a crash. Button Mash and Sweetbell
That was
went
quite
over
a
to
half
check
bump,
on their
actually.
fallen friend. Sweetbell deliberately keeping away from Button's coat and trying to process what Silver Spoon had just revealed. Apple Bloom jumped from her chair and squared herself. I don't give a darn what you're going through right now. No pony treats some pony like that under the apple's roof. Silver Spoon got back to her hooves and giggled madly. Like we wanted to be under the apple's roof tonight in the first place.
You supposed to be fucking
She saw where her
friends.
friend was going, but it was already too late. Sylvie, don't. Why don't you tell Hayseed over there what you told me when you found out we'd be coming over here for Hearthwarming Eve? Applebloom froze and looked over at the filly, who she had once considered her greatest enemy. What's she talking about, Dad? Tiara opened her mouth to speak.
Silver Spoon
but
does
closed
look
it,
sad in that
unsure
picture,
of
though.
what she wanted to say. I'll tell you, and I'll use small words so your bumpkin brain can process it. Silver Spoon adjusted her glasses, now ignoring how off
Shut your
kilter
trap.
She told me how upset she was that we had to spend the most magical night of the year crammed into this dusty, dirty old shack with ponies we get more than enough of at school.
Be grateful you're under the fucking roof, away from the wind.
Did you really say that? Tiara looked away.
She did.
It was all the answer Applebloom needed. Don't act so surprised, Hayseed. Silver Spoon was beyond reason now. Her body visibly vibrated
Hayseed?
with
Is that
adrenaline
rude?
and insanity. Did you really think that whole cutie mark incident meant we were magically friends forever now? Because that's not how real life works. Sure, we might pal around now, and we won't mock you for being blank flanks, but in a few years, we'll start mocking how hideous your cutie marks are. Skulu looked up from between her doting
Oh
friends
my
to say
gosh.
something
Can
about
you
the
really
insult
go that
with
low?
gaze drawn to the window.
You haven't learned a
The
fucking
blizzard
lesson at all,
outside
have you?
seemed to be growing stronger. School, foolhood, friendships, they all go away. After school's over, we're all going to settle into the roles we were always meant to be in. Skulu will always be poor. Sweetie Belle will probably give Button a boatload of babies. You'll live on this farm until the day you die, and Tiara and I will rise above you all to be the absolute upper crust of
I hate her.
society. We're the only friends
In the
you'll
story at
ever
least, but I
need.
fucking hate her.
The slap.
Oh shit, that...
All eyes found Silver Spoon holding her cheek in shock. Silver Spoon stared at Tiara, her hoof still raised. Tears running down her face. You're not acting like my friend. Silver Spoon's shock shattered as the rage returned. She squared herself in front of the roaring fire and stared at her former best friend. Fine, I don't need you. I don't need any of you. I don't need my parents, or their lies, or their stories about mythical gift givers.
You're gonna be alone.
From Sweetie Belle, Button Mash, and Scootaloo's eyes back to the window. The night outside was obscured completely by white.
I hear jingle
Panes
bells.
of glass were starting to frost over. I don't need any of this, and when I have a phone,
I
won't
hear
waste
bells.
my time with silly stories like Santa Hooves and Grogar. I won't waste her time with nonsense like friendship, and come to think of
Every
it, I won't
pony,
waste her time with harsh warning
listen!
at all. Sweetie Belle's ears twitched. Does any pony else hear that?
I heard it before you guys!
No,
Or Phillies.
I hear it too. Buttonmash put his ear to the window and tried to ignore the almost burning cold. It almost sounds like bells. The unicorn
Jingle
whispered
bells.
in confusion.
Sorry, Mum.
That's enough, Silver Spoon. Can't you just stop? Applebloom cried. No, I hate all of you. I hate my parents, I hate Ponyville, and I hate harsh warming.
You hate fucking
The
life.
entire house shook as an enormous thud came from the roof. A freezing wind blew down the chimney and blew out the fire completely. Silence descended upon the room. Did the roof cave in? Button asked.
I'm
A
not
sudden
sure.
shriek of metal on stone came from the chimney. The assembled ponies watched as a long length of chain shot out of the hearth and wrapped itself around
Oh,
Frozen and
fuck.
surprised Silver Spoon. It looped around her several times before the hook on the tip locked into one of the links, securely tying the earth pony. Dangling from the chain was a multitude of gently tinkling bells. Silver Spoon stared at the others, her mind unable to process what was happening.
That's so
What?
chilling, the sound.
The chain was yanked back suddenly, violently, and Silver Spoon vanished up the chimney, with no other sound from the cruel laughter of the bells hanging from the chain.
You're dead.
Silver Spoon's glasses hit the floor. The left lens cracked. The screaming began.
To be continued. Fuck. No, you're fucking dead. Who's gonna fucking die next? Subscribe for more. Spell out for now. I would have subscribed, but what the fuck? Let's go on. Okay. What the fuck? She was being a fucking bitch. I'm sorry for swearing. Wow. It just proves that you cannot change every pony. I got a feeling I may be technically wrong. Okay. Depending on which way the cookie crumbles or which way it goes through the ponies. But it could be, I got a feeling, I could be probably absolutely wrong. I think it'd be Buttermatch would be, yeah. I think it'd be the next one to go. But it's just my speculation. He didn't really speak much really in this fanfiction. It was more like a side character. And Silver Spoon wouldn't keep her fucking she wouldn't keep her trap shut. Her mouth shut. Should have just tied it up and not put something over her mouth or something, just keep her trap shut. Fucking hell. One go and so many left. Who'll be next? Who knows? No pony knows until the next reaction of this story. I hope you liked the story. It was a unique reaction. I'm very sorry for any swearing I do. It's the heat of the moment. I'm gonna end this now before I throw a fit. Bye bye.